'cause I'm on fire. Oh yeah, Daniela's on fire. Oh yeah, breakfast with Bob, breakfast with Bob, breakfast with Bob, breakfast with Bob.
Poncho Man, everybody, is on fire. We're talking, she has won everything. Last year was second here. She's won 2 70.3 world titles in a row. She won Ironman Frankfurt and is back here for another shot at Kona. How are you, Daniela Ryf?
Hi, Bob. Yeah, thank you. I'm very well. I'm excited to be back here, and it's such a great spot, and I really look forward to the race now. Yeah.
I remember last year you came in just a few days before the race, and then you're sort of scrambling, put the bike together, all that type of stuff. This year you came a little earlier.
Yeah, I got myself a few more days. I also had a few more things to do before the race this year, and I think it's been good. I'm happy I've been here for a while. I could check actually the course again. You know, now
Yes.
I've no excuses. I know the course, so
you didn't really know the course.
There shouldn't be any surprising hills this time. I know where the hills are this time. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how your world changed last year about this time, right? You take second place in the most important endurance event in the world, and things can change a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's Hawaii has that power, you know. Ironman Hawaii has that power to change your life, and I certainly got a glimpse of that last year. Of course, I want to go one more spot, you know, up on the podium, but even getting second certainly changed my life. You know, a few more obligations and things on the island this year, but overall, it's been really good. You know, I mean, this is something that we all strive for. You want to reach the highest level in sport,
Right.
and I feel like I'm getting to that place. So you don't always know what it means to do that when you haven't been there, but I think I'm learning and I'm adjusting, and I mostly like it. So it's a good situation.
So what was going from 15th to second? Huge leap. What did you do between that year of finishing 15th to getting second last year? Was it just one of those things where your body just got accustomed to the training, or was there an aha moment where you realized, okay, I got to do this?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both. You know, I think my career has been a steady progression.
Right.
I've kind of gotten better each year, and I hope that trend is continuing. I feel like it is. I'm 32 years old now. Just, you know, in August I turned 32, and I think my best years are in front of me, and I think I've been kind of steadily progressing. But I think what really changed was that I didn't just say the words that I'm focusing on Hawaii. I actually made Hawaii my real number one goal. And that meant figuring out what it was that I had to do to be better here. In the past, the heat has really affected me, and I wouldn't say I naturally race well in heat, so I had to figure out what that meant for me and, you know, adapt myself to this island because, you know, everyone talks about Kona, and it's crazy. It's hot, it's humid, it's windy, but Kona stays the same. It's hard every single year.
Right.
And you really have to change yourself and get better if you want to do well out here. So I kind of just had to look inside myself and make that a real thing where I wasn't just saying the words, oh, Ironman Hawaii, it's not everyone's goal, everyone wants to win, but to do the work to actually be ready to win here. And that was probably the biggest thing.
Last year, getting fourth here. I know you weren't happy getting a penalty, but getting fourth after collapsing the year before, you had to come away feeling pretty good about that.
I did. You know, when you come here, you're not really racing other people as such, you're racing yourself, and the course is so challenging, it's so hot, it's so tough, that you can only put the best that you can put out there. I did get a penalty, but I recovered from it well mentally, and I think that was what I was pleased with.
Yes.
Running through the field, something that I'm not used to because I'm usually at the front at the end of the bike. So,
right.
It was a new experience, and I really enjoyed it. It was like going back to my, you know, younger days racing the older girls. They're not older than me, but you know, they were ahead of me.
Right, and you ran by them.
Yeah, some of them. Not all of them.
Yeah. When you're 14 down, the nice thing is you're still in the top 10. I think you're like 8th place or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure in your mind you're thinking, I've never been off the podium here. You know, I've won twice, I've been second, and I've been third. I've never been off the podium. Let's see if I can get towards the podium. Was that going through your head?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the first couple of miles I was very negative, very like, oh, I suck, you know, like all of those,
Suck.
I suck. You know, what
You
was I
heard it here
doing out
first,
there
yeah.
on the bike? And then you switch it around, and my goal became, okay, well, I've got nothing else to do today. I'm in great shape.
I don't have a tea time anytime soon.
I might as well, you know, put together my best marathon or, you know, thereabouts. And, you know, my first goal was to get in the top 5,
right.
Which I was able to do pretty
quickly. Yeah.
Well, not pretty quickly. It took me about half a marathon.
Did it really take that? Yeah.
But when I got to top 5, it was actually, you know, 3rd, 4th, and 5th I passed
right there,
together.
yes.
So top 5 was basically 3rd place.
Yes.
And so then all of a sudden I'm positive. And I'm like, I'm in 3rd place. I was 14 minutes down. I'm back on the podium. I'm still feeling good. And then, you know, I wasn't thinking about trying to win the race. I was just trying to think about holding it together, being smart, pacing correctly, eating well, fueling. And then Rachel started to get closer, and then, of course, Daniela in the end. But, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you that you're never out of it. I mean, you could have terrible moments in the race. Things can go wrong, but you have a choice as to how you respond to those negative situations. And, I mean, it's an 9-hour race, and everything's not going to go perfect. So it's about how you deal with those imperfections.
What was your favorite part? Was there one moment where you sort of like, as a kid growing up, I never thought this would happen to me?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it's crossing the finish line. It's just like the greatest feeling ever. But when you come home, and then we stayed here for another week, and we visited San Francisco on the way home. So after 2 weeks and like 5 weeks before the race, when I was training here, it was so great to come home and just, you know, hug family and just like have a beer with the friends. You know, happiness is only real when it's shared. You know, and that was what I was a little bit missing. I would have loved to have all my friends around me, you know, right after crossing the finish line. That would have been really great. So that was
fly
really
them
nice. I think I have to win a couple of more races, and then I'm gonna do it.
It's great seeing your teammate win. You feel good about that, but you don't really feel great.
Yes.
And so I really was craving, I guess, something
a little different.
That little individual bit. And, you know, in a triathlon, actually, you don't even have to win. If you've just done the best you can do in a triathlon, you feel great.
good about yourself.
Yeah.
And you figure if someone like Tim Reed could be good at it, pretty much anybody could be good at
it. Tim, exactly. I mean, that's been a huge motivating factor for me, because as a child, Tim and I grew up together on Lord Howe Island. Showed no sporting talent whatsoever.
No, pretty hopeless.
You know, for him to be one of the best triathletes in the world, I'm like, well,
I mean,
I don't need to spell it out for you.
Exactly. I was thinking that. I'm like, of course he got in. If Tim was good, what the heck? And he's got all these sponsors and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to give you some of his leftover sponsors?
Yeah, he did. He gave me this, leftover shirt that he didn't want. Cannondale were trying to, sign him, of course, and handed him all this stuff, and he just fobbed it off to me. And
what was your first race as a triathlete?
It was Oceanside. Oh no, it's untrue. Way back. Way back. My first race as a triathlete, we were on Lord Howe Island. Tim and I were about, I think we were about 8 or 9.
Oh, really?
10. Yeah.
Did you kick his butt?
No, it was a ding-dong battle, to be honest. In the swim, we went sort of shoulder to shoulder. I think it was probably about 4 of us in the field.
Yeah.
There was one guy that was a bit old. Yeah, there was an island of 300 people. You don't get a lot of people that turn up for the annual, I think it was Discovery Day, or it might have been Christmas Day triathlon, or somewhere around there. And we got on the bike, and I was really excited. I had a bit of an edge in the bike league. My grandfather had this old Apollo race bike, which were pretty rare on the island.
Yes.
I'm going to kick his ass here. And Tim was on his old man's Flash mountain bike, which even if he put the seat down as far as he could go, he was still riding on his tippy toes. I was like, novice, I'm going to crush you. And I took off and got a good gap, and I was coming down Leanderley Hill back towards the jetty for the second transition, and my chain jammed.
Oh.
And it was sort of that touch and go, do I push the bike to the transition, or do I ditch it in the bushes as I pass one of the resorts and steal another bike? So I opted for the latter, of course.
Steal a bike.
Yeah, okay. So by this stage, Tim sort of just caught me as I've run into the resort, grabbed this pink fixed wheel bike with a basket on the front, stepped through and jumped on it and chased him down the street to get to the jetty. And then then the rest of it was one of the most tragic days of my sporting career to that point, when Tim slowly, methodically, he got off the bike ahead of me, and I just had to watch this duck thing running along the road. And I was like, how is he going that fast? Like, it makes no biomechanical sense. And that's me thinking like that as a 9-year-old. He looked that terrible. And so it's amazing he's made a career out of triathlon. Like, it's absolutely extraordinary.
Really I know.
Extraordinary.
Anybody, that's why it says anything is possible.
Yeah.
Ironman, anything is possible.
Exactly.
Even if you suck, you can be good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
So what was your first triathlon?
So I did an Olympic distance race back in Switzerland, but then after that I went straight into Ironman. So Ironman Zurich as an age group back in 2006. That was my...
And how'd you do?
I was pretty happy. I got I think I got second in my age group with a 9:58.
And that got you here as an age grouper.
Yeah, so they told me you're going to Hawaii, and I was like, "What the heck?
Really?
What the heck? What's happening in Hawaii?"
I've been doing this bike racing crap forever, and I'm just going to lousy hotel rooms in Belgium.
Yeah. So they told me, "Oh, you're going to Hawaii." I was like, "What? Why? What's going on in Hawaii?" It's, "Oh, the World Championship." I was like, "Oh, yeah." So I got here 2006. Race Hawaii as an age group.
And how'd you do?
I got third.
Third in your age group?
Yeah, with a 9:59.22.
Which is sub 10.
Yeah. I never finished. I always finished sub 10. Every single Ironman I did. And I was, I think I was leading the swim and I was leading the bike, of course. And I got passed by two girls in a run. So, but I was absolutely, over the moon.
So at that point, from there to becoming a pro, did you turn pro right away?
I still remember when I was at the awards. I watched the pros on the stage, and I promised myself one day going to return, and I'm going to be on that stage as a pro.
Yes.
And I actually got a tattoo to remember me every single day.
Really?
Yeah, I got a tattoo back in Switzerland, 2007.
And what does it say?
It's a kind of remember, like with Hawaiian flowers, and just to remember me, want to go back to that place one day, and being a pro, being up on the stage in a top 10.
So were you hiding this thing?
I can't shut up.
Had to ask. Come on.
Sorry, guys.
Talk about what you learned from your first experience last year, because you had a flat, then you had a penalty. Then I think you ran in the transition between bike and run, realized you had the wrong outfit on, ran back in, changed. So you had a lot of little rookie things going on. What did you take away from last year's Kona?
In short, the thing that helped me the most is that I learned never to give up, no matter how hopeless the situation may seem. Yes. And that's the thing, coming from ITU. If you are in 19th place, 20 minutes down, go home. Just don't. Like, seriously, save your legs, go and have a hard training session tomorrow.
Right.
And dealing with that and dealing with the adversity of having a call made against you that you don't really agree with, in fact, not at all, it's kind of like, okay, I have to beat you, the referee, and the course, and the conditions, and myself at times.
It's figure out when to take a gel and all that crap.
Yeah, and all that, just sort of like, I was sitting there for 2 hours feeling sorry for myself, and I'm like, it's not the way to do it.
No.
And that's what I learned from that race, that just mentally toughened me up quite a bit more.
Yes.
I think that's something that you need in Hawaii, is the fact that giving up unless you feel like your calf is tearing off or it is tearing off is not an option.
I always love people who change the game, and you were the first woman to go under 3 hours here for the marathon. That's something that's always stamped out there, because people for a long time thought no guys could go under 3 hours, and then Dave did it, and then 2:55 and 2:50.
Now they go way under 3
Now they're going what? And now Rinny's going. But think about it. It's been a long time since you raced here, and Rinny's going 2:50. But that's just happened in the last couple of years. And did you even realize you were going that fast that year?
I think you go as fast as you can, because you never know what will happen. Even if you have a mile to go to the finish line, you're always scared that you're going to have a meltdown and somebody else is going to be running faster. So you pretty much just go as hard as you can.
Love it. So Heather, do you look at the 97 race as your greatest race, or was there another one?
I think, obviously it stands out in my mind because you've won, but I think probably, as Lori said, there's many that stick out in my mind as well. And some of the ones that probably didn't go as well as I had hoped probably are ones I remember more than anything. When you push through those times that you aren't feeling good and you sort of salvage it for a decent race, I think.
Right.
I think those are some of the ones I probably remember more. The win is, as Lori said, surreal.
Right.
You don't, it's a dream, and it's not something that, until you can reflect on it later, that you really understand and appreciate how great it was.
Love it. How important was Barry Shipley in all of this?
Oh, Barry really is the one he believed in me far before I believed in myself.
When you were a runner, like back in the day.
Well, we grew up in the same small little town of Harrow of 3,000 people. So.
And his family owned a restaurant?
Yeah, they owned this. It's actually it's still there. It's very characteristic of the town, Shep's Restaurant.
Shep's.
It's not. I don't think it's run by them anymore.
Yeah.
But that's the title of the thing. Yeah, and I remember that. And I didn't know who he was when I was growing up, but then. He actually wrote my cross-country training plan for me when I was in grade 12. And at that race, the provincial championship, he said, hey, you should probably think about getting into triathlon. And I was so out of it at this point. I just went in one ear and out the other. And now, with hindsight, I wish I kind of would have listened to him and got into it earlier on. But you have to follow your path.
Sometimes life's journey takes you to those dark places, and you use that to, I'm sure when you finish a race now, at one point, hey, I'm excited about finishing the race, but I'm really excited about how far I've come.
100%. It just makes everything so much sweeter. I don't necessarily think you have to go down those terrible places to appreciate life, but it certainly makes you appreciate where you've come from, the privilege. Look at where we're sitting right now.
Exactly.
You certainly have a much deeper appreciation, I think, when you can reflect back at, hey, this was me 5 or 6 years ago, and here's me now.